Hi, in this video I'm going to introduce the new features in YachtSpot 3G Plus. First of all, let's just start with the hardware. As you can see, it's changed from previous versions of YachtSpot. In particular, features to notice here is on the bottom of the shot on the right. Sort of center left, there is the waterproof SIM card holder. Let me just bring in a picture of the SIM card holder opened up. You just unscrew the cover and it exposes the SIM card holder, and you insert the SIM card with the contacts facing downwards and the notch towards you on the right hand side. The only thing to remember is you need to turn off the power before you remove or insert a SIM card. Okay, a final picture just to show you the back of the new unit. There is the mounting bracket. It's the same mounting bracket as the mounting bracket on previous versions of YachtSpot. The only other difference is that YachtSpot 3G Plus has two N-type antenna connections. Right, let me just move those out of the way. And bring in what YachtSpot 3G Plus looks like. As you can see, it looks very similar to previous versions of YachtSpot. It actually contains all the functionality of YachtSpot v5 with some minor additions, an extra page, ARP page, and but most importantly, as you can see, there's a small group here on the left that incorporates the 3G functionality. Okay, so let's go to the 3G logon page, most important page, and here we are. It incorporates the same kind of small application at the top here that shows the state of the current connection, in this case to 3G service. It works the same as the application on the easy and advanced Wi-Fi logon pages. So you can see here that the 3G interface is at the moment is down, and therefore it doesn't have an IP address, and it cannot ping either Google or Yahoo. First of all, obviously you need to put in the SIM card for your chosen provider, and then you need to set up the connection details for that SIM card. YachtSpot actually contains a list of all the service providers in the world in an XML file. That XML file can be updated. We will regularly update it to keep a list and add any additional providers that come into force. You just basically click that button, and it takes 20 seconds or so to update the list. Okay, so you put your SIM card in, and first thing to do is to put in the connection details. Now you can put those in manually. You can keep a list. This works in a similar way to the list of Wi-Fi access points and WEP and WPA passwords. In this case, it keeps the list of access point names and any other connection parameters. So once you've set this up once, it makes good sense to add it to your access point name list. Okay, but you've just put in your new card. Perhaps your provider hasn't given you the connection details that you require, so you can use our list to get those connection details. So first of all, you would select whatever country you're in. In my case, I'm in the United Kingdom. Then I would select my provider. In this case, I've got a T-Mobile card installed, and then I would select the service. This is actually the access point name. In the case of T-Mobile, there is only one. As you can see, it then puts in the details automatically. There is no username or password required for the T-Mobile network, but if you were on, say, a Vodafone network, it would definitely put in a username and password. Because there's no username and password, there is no authentication. It defaults to none. But if there are a username and password, it defaults to PAP. You can override that and use CHAP authentication if you require that. Everything below this line is really the advanced options. You won't be using these most of the time, but they are there just in case you need to override the default settings. Minimum service level: if you were in a country that only offered GPRS, you would have to select fallback to 2-star G. But we recommend that you force it to 3G only. It gives a better service overall, and stops you from falling back to GPRS and slower connections. Very unlikely you'll be changing the MTU. Really, you probably would only do that if you are having a problem and you were advised to do so by YachtSpot support. You can override the DNS servers that are provided by your service provider, and you can enter those there. And additional AT commands, it's very unlikely you're ever going to use those, but it's there in case YachtSpot support was ever needed to advise you to use specific AT commands. Okay, so you've put in your connection details, and then you select connect. Connection takes normally around 1 minute, 2 minutes maybe. Okay, well, we cut that short just for the sake of the video, but as you can see, we've now connected. The 3G interface is up. You've got an IP address, and you're successfully pinging Google. I'll just show you here the network status page. Now this is the same as in previous versions of YachtSpot, but it now has the addition of the 3G interface, so it's giving you the parameters that it's received via DHCP from your service provider. The IP address, the first two entries there are the DNS servers given to you by your provider. The two additional DNS servers are those that I've set manually. They're Google servers, and because we're using DNS Blaster, which is explained in another one of our videos, YachtSpot is querying all 4 of those servers simultaneously using DNS Blaster. This means that you get back the results of your queries much faster. Basically, the server that sends back the query first is used, and on slow and lossy networks, that gives not only a speed increase but a reliability increase. Okay, so that's it. We've logged on to 3G. That wasn't too painful. I'll just show you the other 2 pages under 3G. This is a scan of the network. You can't scan a 3G network in the same way that you can scan a Wi-Fi network. They don't actually advertise the list of the networks. But what you can do is to scan the particular base station that your SIM card has by default logged onto. This can be quite useful, as base stations are quite often shared by a number of providers, so it can give you an idea of what providers are available in a particular location. I'm not going to show you the scan on this because the particular T-Mobile base station that I'm logging to at the moment is not shared. It's only used by T-Mobile, so that's not really useful for demonstration purposes. But what I'll do is I'll bring in a screenshot of a previous scan using a Vodafone card. I have a Vodafone base station that I can log on to here, and as you can see, I've scanned the that particular base station, and T-Mobile, O2, 3 network and Orange are all available on that particular base station. Although their status at the moment is forbidden, it's forbidden because I've got a Vodafone card, or I did have a SIM card installed, and so only that particular service are available. But were I to put an O2 card or an Orange card in, I would be able to connect using those particular services. So it can be useful. Okay, and then we move on to the info info page. Just click this button, and it takes something like a minute to give a list of information on the 3G card and some information on the SIM card. Okay, so there we are. We've cut that short again for the sake of the video. First of all, we've got some information here on the mini PCI card. That's the 3G card that's installed into the YachtSpot. We have the manufacturer, model number, serial number, software, firmware version. They're probably only of use to YachtSpot support. The next thing it shows is the IMEI number. That's a code that's hard coded into the 3G card. Your service provider might ask you for that. The next two parameters are the active radio band and radio technology that's actually being used to connect to the T-Mobile network at this moment in time. The next parameter is the received signal strength. As you can see, that's actually quite a poor signal. I get quite a poor signal in this area, but nevertheless I still managed to achieve something between 2 to 3 megabits per second peak rate. Out and about testing with better signal strength. Even with the small rubber duck antennas, I'm getting over 7 megabits per second. The card itself is capable of speeds up to 21 megabit per second peak rate. Okay, so further down we've got various other troubleshooting information, pretty self-explanatory. Last of all, we've got details of the SIM card. We've got the IMSI number. That's a number that's actually held on the card that identifies you as a user. Your service provider again might require you to give them that information. And the last parameter is whether the SIM card is installed. So this actually shows whether the YachtSpot itself can detect the SIM card. It would say SIM card not detected if there was a problem with the card, or perhaps the card was, in fact, perhaps the card was missing, or there's a problem with the card. So there you go. That's YachtSpot 3G Plus. Thanks for listening, and cheerio.